You are about to enter the Shockwave Skull Sessions podcast on shockwaveskullsessions.com. And now your host, Bob Nalbandian.
Here we are, once again, Shockwave Skull Sessions podcast. What is it, number 25, Matt?
Number 25, that's right.
I'm here with my partner slash fake producer, Matt Hartnett. What's going on, Matt?
Doing pretty damn good, Bob. How you doing, buddy?
Good. It's been a while, huh?
It has been. We haven't done one of these in
quite a while. Couple weeks off. I was in Vegas and Los Angeles for about a week and a half, so I didn't do any podcasts while I was out of town. And I know you've been real busy with the website.
Yeah, just to our audience out there, if you haven't checked it out yet, please go ahead and do it. www.shockwaveskullsessions.com. A lot of good stuff up on there now. We got the Shockwaves Radio 24/7, hard rock, heavy metal, of all different types of genres that you can check out. And yeah, we got all the podcasts up there as well. We've got, each episode, a little description of it, and you can just go on there and actually, instead of having to go to any of the podcast hubs, you can go right to the website, and we've got it right there for you. Just click on the play button on the little widget next to the episode, and you're all good. Yeah,
absolutely. And dude, the site looks great, man. You did a killer job.
Thank you.
Really great job. Again, shockwaveskullsessions.com, your go-to site for the podcast. And again, you could link from there to any of your favorite podcast networks if you want to subscribe through Spreaker or through Spotify or through YouTube or through, I know not many people go on YouTube, but it is on YouTube audio, audio only. And we also have it on iHeartRadio and I think a few odders. So
you can also just go on your cell
Apple
phone.
Music.
Yeah. And put shockwaveskullsessions.com in there. Go to where it says Skull Sessions Podcast. And every episode comes up right there. You can play it for yourself.
That's right on the website. It
so
comes
no need
up
to even go
automatically.
in those places.
Yeah, so
exactly.
There you go. Just go to the website. And again, you got the radio station. We're going to be adding a lot more songs to the radio station, too. We're just kind of experimenting. We're going to add some shows. We're going to have some special guest DJs, too. We're going to have some major industry people, like people that we've featured on the podcast, to guest DJ on a show. We'll have specific times. We haven't worked out a schedule yet, but we'll have, guest DJs, artists, musicians.
Absolutely.
Industry people, and it'll be a lot of fun. And then we'll actually throw some of the archive episodes up there. We're already on number 25. We got some great archive episodes. So I want to remind you guys, again, you could just go to the Shockwave Skull Sessions site or any of the podcast directories and listen on demand to any of the older episodes as well, because a lot of people were asking me how they could access the older episodes. It's like, well, dude, just go to the site or any of the podcast directories.
You could,
So,
and we're also going to have the T Radio V, and a lot of the old Shockwave interviews that you did.
The Shockwave's videocast interviews and T Radio V archive interviews that I did from like 2000. Well, I think the 2012 through 2014 was the T Radio V, and some of the Shockwave's videocasts. I know Michael Schenker, Thin Lizzy. I did Anvil, Saxon. Those were from I think 2010 to 2012.
Very cool. Nice.
Yeah, and have some bonus material. Some you guys could check out. Kind of like a go-to site, so you can see everything right from the site.
Absolutely. And hey, I mean, you just speaking about our podcast, the last one you did, number 24. Or I should say 23 and 24. Those are great podcasts with Max Norman, David Ellison, and John Bush.
Yeah, that worked out great,
really
man.
Freaking cool, man. I mean, you got a lot of good info out of that I've never heard about before, about either, those albums, those classic albums that Max produced, the classic Megadeth albums, obviously from Rust in Peace up to Euthanasia that he did, as well as Armored Saints, Delirious Nomad.
Sure.
So that was
involved was great.
Yeah, it was great, man. Yeah,
but not just on those albums, but all the albums he's done, from the Ozzy to the Y&T to the Dangerous Toys to he's worked with so many records. Yeah, it was great. I met Max. He came to the Hall of Heavy Metal History. He was a nominee for the Hall of Heavy Metal History, or what do you call it? He won a award there. And that, of course, is where we did the screening for the Band vs. Brand screening. And it was last January at the NAMM show. And I was there with Neely, and we met briefly with Max Norman then. And, of course, Chris interviewed Neely for the Classic Metal show. And thanks to Chris Aiken, he said, dude, you got to get Max on your show. And I'm thinking, wow. he would be great for Skull Sessions because I wanted to get a producer on with some of the musicians. And we've had stuff like that, on the original Skull Sessions with like Bill Ward and Gene Hoglan and Monty Connor together, or Bob Daisley together with Martin Popoff. And, so we're going to do a lot more of that. And this worked out great because I talked to, my friends. It's interesting because both David Ellison and John Bush both did narration for my Inside Metal movies.
That's right.
So I had just called up on them. And of course, Max Norman was a key factor in the production of probably the majority of the Megadeth albums. They're the most popular Megadeth albums, you could say, during that time. And of course, he did the Armored Saint Delirious Nomad, which is considered by many as one of their greatest albums, and a fantastic album and great production, considering that was back in 86.
Yeah.
So it was great to have them on to, it's not just your typical interview. So if you haven't heard that yet, we do the part one is the first half where we go through the 80s, Max's catalog throughout the 80s, both with John and David Ellison. And then part two, we go through the 90s, starting with Megadeth and going all the way till we get into the till recent times. He's back mixing stuff. So great podcast. Definitely check that out if you haven't yet. And
speaking of podcasts, how about there's that whole rock and pod thing going on this weekend?
This weekend,
right?
yeah.
In Nashville, I believe it is.
Chris
right?
from Decibel Geek. I don't want to pronounce the last name. Sinzek, is that it?
Starts with a C, right?
Yeah. Great dude. And I really wish I was planning on going. I was hoping to go, but just, scheduling and, finance and whatnot. But Matt and I are going to devote to going next year.
Absolutely.
Hopefully. But he's got a great lineup this year. So of you in Nashville, this weekend, definitely check it out.
Yeah, well, there's so many great podcasts out there. I mean,
Well, a lot of the fellow podcasters are going to be out there. Joshua Toomey, who we've had on our show.
Sure. Yep.
I know. I don't know if Chris and Neely will be there, but I know the guys from Focus on Metal. We've had Richie on our show. Great show, Focus on Metal. John Caddick from Cast Iron Ring, and other great podcasts. He's usually out there. I know Michael Butler from the Rock and Roll Geek Show. Great podcast. I don't know if the Three Sides of the Coins guys will be there. Michael Brandfold, we've had him on with Chris Aiken. That was a
two-part special.
Another two-part special about the industry, and I know he's a big player in the podcast.
And Don Jameson, he's got that. Was it the?
Well, he's got the Compound Media now. He's got a video, which is actually the same. Channel
Jameson show, is that what it's called? Right?
Yeah, it's called that Jameson show, and it's Anthony Cumia. Has his through Compound. It's actually, I believe it's Anthony Cumia's network.
Okay.
He started his own network. At least this is what I get from listening to the Classic Metal Show, that when he left Opie and Anthony, he wanted to do his own network.
So he did his own, okay.
So he could just do it, because as you know, YouTube and all these
all
other
the PC stuff. So yeah,
exactly. So he formed Compound Media. He's got a lot of great shows. I know Jim Florentine's got something on there, and definitely check out Don Jameson. He's been on a previous podcast when I was the Bob Father, so we'll get him on again because I felt bad about that. My voice was trashed, and we had Monty Pittman on that episode as well.
Yeah, that was a cool episode,
Yeah, so he's a great guy, Don Jameson, always supportive. So definitely check out his podcast at Compound Media, that Jameson show. And there's so many cool podcasts out there to plug.
There's one I've been listening to recently, it's called Dumb and Dumbest. If you're really into the music business, you're into marketing, and especially if you're a younger band and you want to get some tips and just some ideas. I mean, Dumb and Dumbest. It's
and
Matt
Jim
Bacon.
Carrey is the dumbest, right?
Well, no, it's
in many ways.
Matt Bacon, who's we've been working with him. He's been helping us out with the podcast as well, and also some other ones, right? Victor Ruiz, one of our...
Oh, yeah, he's a good supporter. I don't know if he'll be down at the Rockin' Pod. He's actually based in Spain, and we'll hopefully get him on a future episode of the Skull Sessions. Yeah, Mars Attacks podcast, and I think he has another podcast, and of course, Rock from the Radioactive Metal podcast. He'll probably be out there.
Oh, cool.
He's a big supporter as well. There's a few podcasts I've been listening to. Dean Del Rey's podcast. Sometimes he'll have some good guests. He'll have some rock and metal guests. A lot of times they're all like photographers or friends, but he gives a real thorough, like hour long. I mean, he's really close with a lot of these guys. He's a comedian. That guy's been around forever.
Yeah.
Ray. Yeah. He's originally a Bay Area guy. I think now he's in New York, and he does all his podcasts in his studio, which is cool. And so he has a person over, and it's a real personable thing. He's got a real good podcast. Let There Be Talk is what it's called. So check that out. Ricky Rackman has his Cat House podcast. He's supposedly going to start up another podcast, and there's some good stories on there. It's all about the Cat House, of course, but he had some good stuff. I've been listening to that, and the Rock and Roll Geek Show I mentioned. So there's some good things we've been listening to. Speaking about businesses, though, we got our first sponsor, man.
We did. I know. How about that, man? All
Heavy Metal Hemp.
AllheavymetaLhemp.com.
Yeah, well, the site's not up yet.
It's going to be soon.
But definitely check it out. They're working on it. Great person. Myra Chapman. All her hemp products are tested in the laboratory and top of the line. She's got the best CBD product of 2018.
So it's pure shit.
It's pure. It's 100% shit. So, I mean, a lot of people are, what the hell? But, there's so many byproducts, as you know, added into all chemicals, added into foods and stuff. And all these now, there's so many of these.
The synthetic. The synthetic.
Especially the CBD oil. You wouldn't believe how much they add to it, man. It's like people cutting cocaine with baby laxative. You don't want the 100% pure when you could cut it with shit, and sell it, make more money.
Man.
Not with Heavy Metal Hemp lines. So
pure shit.
Definitely, we're going to keep you posted on it. And they're all metal heads over there.
I can't wait to try that stuff.
Yeah,
we
got some good samples.
I love my THC, so I'm looking forward to that for sure.
There you go. So thank you, Myra Chapman, for being a part of this, and we're of course going to work together with them on some product and doing some stuff and sponsoring them and so some good stuff. So definitely check that out. We might have a couple other sponsors. Anyone else is interested in sponsoring, just hit us up, man. ShockwaveSkullSessions@gmail.com. We also got that PayPal page, huh? Should we?
If you want to donate.
Should we pander?
We're asking.
It's donation.
Please donate.
You like something, you donate. You don't like it, don't fucking donate. And turn off the goddamn internet. All right? Tune to something else. Bay Area Godfathers. Yes, we are editing now. Our great friends. See, speaking of Eddie, our good friends.
Yeah.
Well, we work with them, so they are great friends. I've known them for many, many years. The guys at Reality Check TV, in particular, Danny Shipman is doing the editing now. He just sent me the latest edit, and the flow of the movie is looking great. We just did the narration here, thanks to our Shockwave Skull Session Studios at Matt Hartnett's residence here, his own little podcast studio he built. We had John Stranansky fly down from Dallas, and he did the narration for this movie. Sounding great, man. We got to just add in the narration, add in all the photos, pictures, the music, and we'll have this thing wrapped up. So we're looking to do the screenings here in the Bay Area. The plan is to do some screenings here in the Bay Area, one or two here in like San Francisco, Oakland area, and probably one in Los Angeles as well, a big one in LA, and maybe one in Vegas as well. We got a lot of Vegas people. So, but definitely the main ones will be right here in the Bay Area, and we've got a couple places in mind. We will keep you posted. So I'm thinking probably around October, November, I would think.
Very cool.
Because I would assume now the knowing how Metal Rock Films releases their films, they don't like to put it out before the holidays. And last time we had it ready, we were hoping for a September release, and we pushed it to January. So I'm assuming the DVD and streaming releases will be out in January. And of course, this will be a two-parter, just like the LA Inside Metal titles. It'll be a part 1 and part 2 DVD, as well as streaming as a 2-part film on Amazon Prime, Google Play, I guess Apple Music as it's called now, and probably a lot of the other streaming sites, and hopefully we'll get on a few other shows again too. So some TV shows.
And we'll get some of the guests, obviously, from the documentary to come in and hopefully do it in studio, or even if it's just not in studio, at least to get them on, they could talk a little bit about the movie itself, or just their experiences in general with the Bay Area, thrash metal scene back in the day, right?
Oh yeah, we're going to get a lot more of in studio guests here.
We're hoping to have one coming up this weekend. We don't want to say it just yet, just in case it doesn't happen, but we do have one lined up.
Touring band coming through.
Touring band,
Look at
exactly.
that.
So, and also a newer
We're big
band.
time, baby.
Okay, so we're gonna, if you go on Shockwaves Radio too, you're gonna hear some. You'll start hearing some. Obviously we focus on the classic metal, but we also want to, give a little bit of attention to some of these newer bands coming out that have that classic metal sound. I think I was telling you, Bob. There's a lot of people don't understand. There's a whole little scene going on right now called I'll call it because it's your favorite
traditional metal.
It's your favorite new album. So this is Nowatham, new wave of traditional heavy metal.
Yeah.
But there are some bands and that we've been listening to that really. It's amazing that this has come back around. I never really thought this would be.
What's been going around? I think in Europe,
it has for a while. Yeah, just finally in the States here.
Consider some of the power metal stuff and some of the other stuff that's been around, kind of the. Halloween, Hammerfall kind of that traditional metal kind of thing has been going on for years, but it is coming over stronger. And here in the States, I think it started. I remember in the 90s when even Century Media with Jag Panzer and Iced Earth and all these kind of bands, were coming out pretty strong. And then it kind of it's just coming back again. You're right. There's a lot of it, which is good. It's always good to see.
It's great. Yeah, so maybe a lot of guys, if you haven't heard these bands, just go on Shockwaves Radio. We got a lot of it up there. Like I said, we'll be doing some interviews through the Shockwaves Radio as well as doing some interviews that you can read on some of these newer bands just to get yourself.
And any bands, go ahead, send a. I know a lot of people have been hitting me up through Facebook. If you want your music added through Shockwaves Radio, send them our way. Shockwaveskullsessions@gmail.com. Don't send a shitload of MP3s. Just send one or two clips, if that, and describe the band. And if we like it, we'll add it.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, should we wind this down, Matt?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we just wanted to kind of give it an update, see
another filler episode.
Just let you guys know what's going on. And like I said, just keep going to the website and keep checking out, for more podcasts. I know we had a couple weeks break there, but we're back. Doing it again. And
I know people are bitching right now. A fucking filler episode. What the fuck, man?
What the F, bro?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be fucking some rock stars, man. Not you and Matt fucking just talking about your podcast and pandering and bullshit. Well, fuck you then. How about that?
It's okay. They'll be very happy when they see what's coming up soon.
That's right. We got some good shit coming. So, in other words, donate, motherfuckers.
Donate, please. We're begging you. No, I'm just kidding. We're not. But if you want to, like I said, we've got a lot of cool little swag to give you. So anyway, we don't want to keep harping on
that no joke catalog.
You know how it is. We talk about
no joke, dude.
It's called no joke for a reason, right?
Yeah. People are digging. You know how the Nowatham is coming back? I think the No Joke record label is going to be coming back soon, dude.
I'll tell you never know, man.
I think we get enough donations coming in. We send in those. We send them those CDs in return. People are going to be putting those up, trading them, posting on their Facebook.
And we're going to have a line outside the door
on their MySpace pages.
Lining up to get on interviews in here for Shockwave Skull Sessions.
It's going to be a No Joke Records revamp.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's it.
That's it. We'll see you this weekend, hopefully, with a show. So we'll be popping up, hopefully, a new episode by Monday.
And check out our social media pages because we're going to be having a lot more content on that coming up soon as well. And things are kicking into an extra gear here coming up in the next couple of weeks or so. So just stay tuned and tune in to Shockwave Skull Sessions as always.
There you go. All right, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you for listening to the Shockwave Skull Sessions podcast. Subscribe and listen to all episodes by going to our pages on iTunes, Spreaker, YouTube, Spotify, and more. You can listen to all other episodes and access up-to-date information and news on the Shockwave Skull Sessions podcast by going to our website at www.shockwaveskullsessions.com. Email all comments, questions, and suggestions to shockwaveskullsessions@gmail.com.